Look, Canada is not the root cause of any problems for the United States. Far from it. We're going to keep working hard, doing whatever it takes to prevent these tariffs from being imposed. But let me be absolutely clear. If, come Tuesday, unfair and completely unjustified tariffs are slapped on Canada, our response is going to be swift, immediate, and incredibly strong, exactly what Canadians expect from us. Now, let's talk numbers. Canada depends on us for 95% of their trade, while we rely on them for just 4%. Huge difference, right? Some people even joke that Canada should just become our 51st state. No tariffs, no trade disputes, nothing. But here's the thing. Canada has been thinking about switching things up, rethinking its trade strategy, and focusing more on Europe instead of being so reliant on the US. This could be a game changer for their economy, especially when it comes to energy. And speaking of energy, let's not forget what went down in Europe. They made a massive mistake by putting all their energy reliance on Russia, betting everything on Russian gas. And then, boom, Ukraine happened. Overnight, Europe found itself in a total energy crisis, scrambling to break free from Russian energy. They needed a lifeline, and that's where the US swooped in. We started shipping out massive amounts of LNG, liquefied natural gas, to save the day. It was the perfect match. We had the gas, and they were freezing. But hold on, Europe wasn't exactly feeling secure in this deal. Sure, the US came through in the short term, but what if we suddenly got all America first on them? What if prices skyrocketed, or, worse, we stopped selling to them altogether? Europe started to worry. What if this so-called hero wasn't as reliable as they hoped? Would American energy policies suddenly turn against them? That's when Canada came into the picture. Europe started eyeing Canada as a backup plan, a stable, trustworthy, and energy-rich friend that wouldn't pull the rug out from under them. And let's be real, Canada has tons of energy. The country is stacked with oil and natural gas reserves, making it a perfect option for Europe to diversify its energy sources. And this wasn't just a last-minute thought. Canada's been strengthening ties with Europe for years. Back in 2017, a major trade deal between Canada and the EU kicked things into high gear, paving the way for deeper energy partnerships. With everything going on, it's becoming more and more clear that Canada is ready to step up as a key energy player on the global stage. But let's not forget, Canada's relationship with the US has been rocky. For decades, the US has been Canada's biggest trade partner, especially when it comes to energy. But tensions have been rising, and Canada is starting to second-guess its heavy reliance on the US. When the Trump administration hit Canada with tariffs on their goods, it was a huge wake-up call. Canada realized it couldn't afford to be caught off guard like that again. So, what did they do? They started searching for new markets, looking for alternatives so they wouldn't be so vulnerable next time. And these trade disputes? They've only made the US-Canada relationship even more strained. Canada refused to sit back and wait for the next hit. Instead, they took action, aggressively pushing to diversify their energy exports. And with Europe desperate for stable energy sources, the timing couldn't have been better. Oh, and let's not forget another major factor: immigration and border control issues. Some policymakers were pushing for 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, claiming they were allowing huge numbers of people to cross into the US, and even linking it to the fentanyl crisis. These tensions only made Canada more determined to strengthen ties elsewhere. So, Canada seized the moment and ramped up its energy trade with Europe. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA, became a game-changer for Canada-EU trade. Since this deal came into effect in 2017, trade between the two has skyrocketed. The numbers speak for themselves. Trade shot up from €53.3 billion in 2020 to a massive €77 billion in 2022, a jaw-dropping 66% increase. This agreement has paved the way for even deeper collaboration, especially when it comes to the energy sector. With Europe desperately trying to break free from its dependence on Russian energy, Canada sees a golden opportunity to step in. And what's at the center of this opportunity? Liquefied natural gas, LNG. Canada is ramping up its efforts to export LNG directly to Europe, and the momentum is building fast. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has emphasized that before diving headfirst into this massive market, there has to be a strong business case. But let's be honest, the potential is absolutely enormous. With Europe scrambling for new energy sources, Canada is positioning itself as a key supplier. The demand is there. The resources are there. And if everything lines up, this could be a game-changing shift in global energy trade. In fact, this perfectly aligns with Canada's long-term strategy, diversifying its energy markets and reducing its over-reliance on the US for trade. If things go according to plan, this could be a win-win situation for both Canada and Europe. Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content just like this. Canada's bold trade strategy. Canada is making big moves when it comes to trade. The goal? Reduce its dependence on the US and start securing major trade deals with other countries around the globe. Sure, Europe is a top priority, but Canada isn't stopping there. They're also setting their sights on Asia, one of the world's hungriest energy markets. With the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion finally complete, Canada now has a direct route to Asia. And that changes everything. This means more exports to energy-thirsty nations like China and Japan, opening doors to massive economic opportunities. Canada isn't just considering this move. It's ready to tap into these markets and solidify its position as a reliable global energy supplier. A shift that goes beyond just energy. Make no mistake, this isn't just about selling more oil and gas. This shift is about securing Canada's economic future. China, for example, is a massive market, and its demand for energy is only growing. With a more direct shipping route, Canada can get its energy there faster and more efficiently than ever before, something that gives them a huge advantage. And Japan? Oh, Japan is desperate for liquefied natural gas, LNG. Experts predict that Japan's LNG needs are going to skyrocket in the coming years. And guess what? Canada is perfectly positioned to step in and meet that demand. The Energy Saguenay project, a bright idea that hit roadblocks. Now, speaking of LNG opportunities, there was one major project that could have changed the game, the Energy Saguenay project. This was an ambitious plan to build a massive LNG facility in Quebec, designed to export a whopping 11 million tons of LNG every year. It sounded incredible on paper, a project that could boost the economy, create jobs, and put Canada on the map as an energy powerhouse. The Quebec government was all in at first. They saw the potential. But then, the roadblocks started piling up. Environmental concerns slammed the brakes on the whole thing. Assessments raised serious red flags, and suddenly, the excitement turned into a major debate. One of the biggest concerns? The beluga whale population in the region. Their numbers were already shrinking, and this project could have made things even worse. That alone triggered massive pushback. By